Welcome to episode 8 of our second season of Whole Lot of Wolves. We're your hosts. I'm Joshua Buckley.
And I'm Paul LePage.
And this week we're bringing back our friend Joe 2 in Conneticut. He's back to be our guest. How's it going, Joe?
Oh, it's good. I've been dying to talk to you guys because there's been a lot that happened since the last time we talked.
Yeah, real quick, what'd you think of F9, scale of 1 to 10?
Oh, I was a really big fan. We saw it opening night with a crew of our friends, so that kind of boosted us. But we've seen it a bunch since for the podcast. I thought it had a lot of fan service, but they did a lot of stuff really well. Overall, I was really happy with it. I was like, my main take was like, I don't think I could have made something better than that myself. There's nothing that it was lacking, so I was a big fan of F9. Do you guys see it?
Oh, yeah, I saw it. Magnets in space. It was all
magnets in space. Yeah, that's what you get.
So we're going to start out with Southampton, which was on Sunday, and let's jump straight into it.
Big long kick downfield. Jimenez trying to chase. Jimenez getting the better of Bednarek. Jimenez into the penalty area. Coming back in, it's Raul Jimenez! Finally, there's a goal for the Mexican sensation! Oh, how he has had to wait! All those months of recovery, all the emotion comes pouring out for Raul Jimenez, who is finally a Premier League goal scorer again. 332 days since his last competitive goal. Raul Jimenez finds the back of the net. It's Southampton 0, Wolves 1, and what a finish! Oh, how we've missed that from him.
Guys, what an awesome moment that was to see Raul score that first goal of the season. Paul, what was going through your mind right then?
It was the first time, I think, all season when anybody had been in that particular position or opportunity that I genuinely thought there was a goal, and it happened. And it was everything that we've come to expect from him. It was world class. It had shades of Tottenham 2 years ago, that goal. It was awesome and great spectacle, great occasion for him. Monkey off his back in terms of getting that first goal since his return. And ultimately, the 3 points. It was the match-winning play of the game and a world-class move from the goalkeeper through to the striker, and bang, 1-0. There you go.
Joe, what were your thoughts?
I got a little emotional seeing it because, like, you could see that for the past couple of weeks, he's been struggling. Like, it's on his mind, and you can just read it on his face. So for him to get through it and then seeing, like, Cody and Saw in the back jumping into each other's arms and stuff, I think everybody got, like, a big boost from that, and I hope that we can carry it on. But, yeah, it did get me a little teary-eyed there going because I was like, he deserves it, man. He seems like a good dude, and, like, he needs to get that first one in. And it was, like you said, dude, it was classic, like we expected. And you're right, I've been very skeptical of people making moves like this lately. For him to just smash it in like that was beautiful.
Paul, you mentioned Saw. I think we can definitely say Patricio would not have made that assist on that perfect kick, really, to Raul. Number one, because it wasn't on the right side. But, I mean, that was a deadly strike. Is this what we've been wanting to see? And is this what Wolves thought they were getting with Jose Saw?
Sunday, I thought his balance of play was definitely his best game in a Wolves jersey so far.
Absolutely.
He had that one snafu when he nearly got caught up with the attacker. But apart from that, I thought it was everything that we thought we were getting with that profile of goalkeeper signing. So I don't think he's probably not as world-class ball at his feet of the likes of an Edison or an Alisson. But to have the foresight and to really drop that ball on Raul's toe to begin the move, that was something that we probably wouldn't have seen previously. So I think it's awesome that we've got the caliber of goalkeeper that adds a dimension to our game. Effectively route one, but I'll take it every day of the week. And not only that, I thought we would have got probably caught out previously with that chance that they had over the top, and Semedo went to clear and it bounced off ricocheted through.
Yeah.
He was there on the spot straight away, so that bodes for me. I don't think it's probably not got the attention immediately because the flag went up but I've seen it repeated from the team's social channels today. That double save was fantastic. And
Insane.
I thought the Chris Sutton on commentary didn't give it enough credit because he was like, oh, he should have saved the first one. But that was before the deflection that he saw. So the ball moved off that deflection, he saved it. And not only did he get up quick, he probably took about 3 or 4 paces from getting back vertical on his feet to close the man down on the second one. So brilliant. His best game, if it wasn't for Raul, probably been man of the match. So yeah, a lot of positives.
So Raul's your man of the match, Paul?
I think so. It's got to be. When it's a 1-0 win, it wasn't pretty, attritional. All the stuff that goes into that type of performance away from home, when you've got that match winner that came to the fore, it can only be him for me.
How about you, Joe? Who's your man of the match?
Paul stole it from me completely. I was gonna go Saw. Just
that's
the saves,
that's who I would pick too.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like just the saves. You're right. There was a couple of them that we had him offsides, sure, but he still made great saves. And then the pass, and it was the best we've seen from him so far. Like, it felt really comfortable. He looks comfortable. Like, he had that one that he batted down that was like off the set piece that was really nice too. And yeah, I couldn't imagine a better performance from him. I think that he kept that game closer than it should have been, and I was getting nervous watching through some of the highlights again that if I can't tell if it was he was playing so good or we were getting very lucky that we don't always happen to do. But I hope that we can keep this up, because if you can sneak a couple saves like that from a top 6 team, we have a shot, and that's comforting.
So we had a related no stupid question from Wolfman Jeff. He asked, how many assists will Saw get this season? Joe, I'll let you start out with that.
I'm going to go, including Sundays, I'll go 4. I think he'll have 4 total. I think he'll get a couple more like that. Like, he'll just get a nice drop in. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. So I'll say 4 total.
Paul, how many?
You're going to have some naysayers, Joe, out there saying that's going to be more than Traore. So I think that... Not me, but I could see it coming. That's pretty positive. I'll go. It's pretty early on in the season. I think he'll get another one with his foot, and then I could expect one from a big throw out that he collects the ball on the edge of the box and he throws it out. And I'll give him some credit. He'll throw it to Traore. Traore go on a crazy run, slalom, and finish it. So I'm not bashing him, honest.
Hey, Adama nearly had a goal. If Raul had been able to make a quick enough decision, it looked like he was kind of saying, do I go for goal here? Do I pass it to Adama? I guess he felt like the passing lane was already taken up. That would have been a nice cherry on top. But alas, still a great win. There were some interesting lineup changes, mostly having Adama and Neves on the bench. I agreed with Neves being on the bench to start the game because he was so bad against Tottenham. Like, I even think I said in some of our text chains, Paul, I felt like Neves was like throwing the game. It looked that bad at times. What did you think of the starting 11 lineup? Keeping Cody in there, no Bali, no Adama, no Neves. What were your thoughts?
I thought I was... Initially, the Bali one starting from the back was most surprising for me, because I thought if there was an opportunity for him to come back in, it would have been that game. But maybe that was a reflection on Wednesday's performance against Tottenham as well, that arguably he was culpable for the first goal. So maybe that gave Large not as much confidence to bring him back in. On the one hand, from the back line, you like the continuity, that at least you have got a stable back line and the players are there, and each week goes by, they get to know each other a little bit better. Maybe he gave them a chance after the Brentford game to say, cut these mistakes or you're going to get dropped. So maybe that helped them a little bit. I thought whilst there was no one in the back line that majorly stood out, I thought as a unit they defended pretty well. So some of the parts and all of that, I think they're okay. Midfield wise, I thought Dendoncker deserved his start, especially after scoring in midweek. but even at times I felt they were getting run. They're sometimes getting overload in the midfield where they had a couple of patterns of play where we seem to get bypassed, and I'm not sure how that's going to be fixed at the moment. And then as the forward line goes, again, I thought Podence was probably deserving of his opportunity, and we've got a number of players to fit into those roles. So not only him, Trincao, Wang as well. So I think now we'll see somewhat more rotation coming in, and it seems majorly disappointed when Troy is on the bench, especially away from home, because it's such a weapon to come on that you can get into. If you're still in the game with 60 minutes in and he's readying himself, I think that can open it up even farther. And it would have been a nice cherry on top if he'd have got that chance right at the end and scored and proved Large right for that selection. But balance of things, yeah, I was fairly content.
What were your thoughts when you saw the lineup, Joe?
I like Troy coming off the bench too, mainly because I think he's more effective when he comes off the bench. Like when he seems to start, it seems like everything goes through him for so long. Like it's just him down the wing the whole time, which is great because like nobody can defend him and whatever. But I feel like the team doesn't play as cohesively in that style if we play that the whole times. And when he comes off the bench, I think that it's like a really good disruptor. So it's good to have in your back pocket. I don't know how other fans feel about that. I don't know how he feels about that, if that's a role that he wants to play. So that's a more, difficult conversation to have. But I like the lineup. Trincao, like Podence definitely got a spot this week. So yeah, and he played great. I think he was doing really good. A lot of stuff was going through him. That it looked good. He was making good passes. Trincao, I don't know how he resting or did he fall out of favor or something? I didn't really catch what he did. Does anybody know?
I think it was just a numbers game. At some point, if opponents is coming in, somebody's got to come out.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, because like he hasn't been playing bad. Like he hasn't scored, but like he's been creating chances and stuff.
He was another one that had a really rough game against Brentford.
Brentford, he was pretty anonymous, and I think sometimes we forget that he's still a youngster as well and adapting to a new league. So I can give Trincao the benefit of the doubt. Again, when it's a tricky trip away to a team like Southampton, that may not be he might not have the skill set for that particular fixture at this point in his career with us. He could be more of a home player, I'm not sure.
So speaking of Podence, what do you guys think is his best role with the team? I still think he's best as a super sub coming in at the 60th minute. Would you guys rather see him start or come off the bench?
I like seeing him start. I think that I think he takes a minute to get warmed up, is what it seems like to me. When he comes off the bench, he seems like he takes a good 5 to 10 minutes to really start to get into the flow of the game. And then he comes on like late sometime, like most of the time. He comes on pretty late. So I don't think he's as effective. I just like him. He's small, but like his dribbling's good. And without Trincao this week, I was like, oh, it's a perfect fit to sub them for each other because you get that same style of play. But you're right. It's a numbers game. I wouldn't mind having him on the bench because I think it's great to have a player like that could come in and change stuff. But I think that he's a little bit more effective if he starts.
I think it's tricky from last season in particular that we never saw a genuine run of games from him, and that was injury related, and he showed flashes, but was that consistent, or could it be consistent over 6 to 8 games going back to back? I'm not sure. So I think the thing for me is, even on Sunday, that I think they're all still getting used to each other, and at times Raul seemed a bit isolated still, and even though it was the three up top, they were very far apart. And when Huang starts, especially, I'd have thought he'd have been trying to come in more from the left-hand side and influence the game and be a bit more direct down the centre. So I think we haven't seen probably the best combination of a three to begin with, if he persists with it. never mind kind of the individual players out of that three and who's the best parts to start. It's a tricky one at the moment.
I still want to see Huang and Raul together in the front two. I feel like Huang Hee-chan is better when he's playing up top as opposed to the left wing, because I think he's able to use his strength a little bit more in his body. He's still got some speed, but I feel like him and Raul would be really fun up top. What's your thoughts on that?
I would like to see it. I think that you're right. I think he plays more physical and he likes cutting through the box a lot. We saw that a couple times this weekend. I think if they can form a good chemistry, I think it'd be very effective. I would agree with it.
I've got a clamoring for the halcyon days of Jota and Raul. So if he sticks with a five at the back, then it's the conundrum then is in the centre. So the midfield three, and you're using all of you guys there. So that's tricky. That offers an opportunity for Traore to be rested in parts, because he was never really a fit in that 5-3-2. But I don't know. It just seems, I wish maybe there's a scope for a genuine 10 out of someone that we've got. I still don't think Podence is that 10. I think he's more
not.
suited
I don't
to
think
out
he's
there
physical enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So whether there's a 10 and it's Trincao behind Raul and Huang more centrally, yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, I'd like to see a dynamic duo up top.
Call me crazy. I'd like to see Adama in a 10 or one, just once, just to see how it goes. Do we have a Connor Cody issue right now?
I was going to ask you guys that.
Yeah. Look, I think we, as Wolves fans, when you look at everything he's done, he's a great guy. He's a fantastic leader. He's been a big part of this team. But when he came on, when Mosquera got hurt against Tottenham, there's no doubt Connor Cody was the worst player on the field then. I was actually surprised he got the start against Southampton. But do you think that's why he's sticking with the back three, is just because Lodge doesn't know how to handle this Connor Cody situation because of his leadership?
Yeah, this is a tough one. You see this in other sports too. It looks like he's just a little slow. And there's nothing wrong with that. He's a little bit older, and what was the Tottenham game? Like, he just got beat so bad on that one goal. That was just like pretty bad to watch. Yeah, I don't know what you do. It's hard, especially when the guy's like a leader like this. Can you cut his time and make him like a super coach kind of situation? You know what I mean? And with Mosquera out, who do you have that's really gonna fill this? So I think you got to let him play and just pray that Jose Sa makes all the saves, man. That's what I would do.
Paul?
I think there's something about not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And I think with Cody that sometimes we forget that all players go up and down in form, yet he's so under the spotlight given the position that he plays. And I genuinely think it's probably the worst run of form that he's been in since he's took up this sweeper role. There's errant passes, there's a mistake here or there. And that's been pretty much from the start of the season. Maybe it's because we've got lofty expectations of what his standard is, or maybe it's the fact that he sees somewhat less of the ball now because the plays don't necessarily start with him as much as they used to under Nuno. So we don't see the raking passes. We don't see him picking up the ball and being a sweeper that way. I still think that it's a reflection of the squad that Large can't do a 4, and if you are playing a 3, then he does have a role, and I think he'll continue to have one. If this fabled centre back comes in at some stage, then I think the question marks will be over him, because it could be anyone alongside that centre back, even Cody himself, who knows. But until that time, I think he's part of the 11 unless the formation changes.
How about Neves? What is Donk keep starting over Neves?
Nah.
I know it sounds crazy.
Look,
I know, but
look, you guys heard last time I was talking to you guys, I was like, if I want to air ball 10 feet over the net to the right, I could do it. But I think that in this Lodge system, he's looked great. He's made me eat all my words all season until a couple bad games, whatever. But no, I think he seems to be making more passes, like stuff's going through him a little bit more. And if he can find the top of the net, like, yeah, really. But I'm so sick of hearing all these announcers being like, "Oh, he's gonna rip a screamer from here." I'm like, "No, he's gonna miss. Like every time he misses." And when the penalty, like when I was watching penalties, I just put my head down. I knew exactly what was gonna happen, and it was just disappointing because he'd already missed the free kick. Like he did the same thing there, and I was just like, "Oh God, this is gonna be miserable." Yeah, no, but I do think he's been playing a lot better. I think that he likes the Lodge system better. So like, that Donger had a great game, but I can't even put Neves out right now, is what I'm trying to say.
Paul, I know Neves is your boy.
I think he's got to be when you've only got 3 players going into 2, and especially Moutinho's age, that we are going to see some rotation between the 3. And we will go back to the summer, and we will go back to a huge miss of not bringing anyone in who could complement those 3 who we've got at the moment. So personally, I'd stick with Neves through thick and thin, and he would be my captain and the player I'd build a team around. But it's, again, we got to be careful. We can't burn him out. An injury to any of those 3, we're in trouble. We can't. There's going to be teams who will come up against that are going to know how to stifle us, and the centre of the park is a fairly easy way to do that. So we need maximum output from all those 3 guys at various stages throughout the season, hopefully up to December, and some reinforcements in January. But they could all see a lot of minutes.
So Wayne McKee, on another No Stupid Question, he's on Twitter. He asked, do performances like this, are they good enough to keep us in the Premier League? I think yes. I think that was definitely something to build on, especially the emotion and getting Raul going. What's your thoughts, Paul?
Those games are the bread and butter of staying in the Premier League, that you go to a venue like Southampton and you win. You go to a venue like Watford and you win. There's the points that you're picking up. If we'd have played like that on Sunday against Manchester City, would we have lost? Yeah. If we'd have played Southampton and they'd had a better strike force, would we have lost? Possibly. They seemed very Championship standard out of comparisons against Danny Ings of previous years. But then on the flip side, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that it was attritional but professional at the same time. And it was a good, hard-earned victory. So bread and butter of staying in the league, and what you can start to set some foundations on, I think.
I've been waiting for a run of, we've been creating so many chances.
Yeah.
Like the floodgates have to open at some point. You know what I mean? So this gave me hope. Like Raul should be the one who's like leading the goal scoring charge. Him to get his first one, that gives me optimism. And I just don't think they can just keep stopping this team with so many chances. Like Semedo at the very beginning of the game, he should have scored a goal. Like he blasted it. He just hit the goalie right in the chest. But like he had a chance, and like we said, Raul could have passed the Traore. That could have been another one. So like, granted, we could have given up a couple, but like we have to open this at some point, and I think that gives me a lot of optimism.
I think Raul getting the monkey off his back is going to be good for the whole team, because I think it's going to take some pressure off the team knowing, okay, Raul's back. He can be that goal scorer, and so we don't need to necessarily panic whenever we get in the box. So I hope that's the case, and hopefully it can carry over. So now looking ahead to Saturday, it's going to be a 9 a.m. Central kickoff at home against Newcastle. We're going to preview the opposition. We welcome back Alan Yanez from the Toon Army Baltimore Supporters Group. How's it going, Alan?
It's going. In soccer terms, it's okay. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty good, man. Hey, I can't complain. How about you guys? Good.
Good there, man. Thanks for coming back on.
Good.
Yeah. Seems a little bit like Groundhog Day being a Newcastle supporter. You guys still want the owner out. You guys still don't like the manager.
Yep.
No summer investment. What's going on?
It's pretty much par for the course, I think. I think we've all gotten used to this now. Even fans of other teams understand that this is just how Newcastle operates now. It's Mike Ashley just hanging around, doing whatever he pleases. He just handed it to Steve Bruce, which fuck us. I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss, but we're screwed on that one. So yeah, man, it's a lot of the same. I think we are a talented 11. The problem is that about 4 of those 11 are injured, which makes us a mediocre at best 7. I don't know what the math is there. You get what I'm saying. We're not good. I'm a little more concerned. I was actually having the discussion with the wife on Saturday that we've always had tough starts to the season. And I think this season we've always had tough teams in those opening maybe like 10 weeks. Whereas I think this year we were blessed to have some sprinkled in, we would consider winnable games that we have not. And that is a problem. It's the wins again. It's the draws against Watford, Brentford, things like that. Those are the games that we can usually nip 3 points, and that's what keeps us up. So a more concerning trend. Usually we start slow anyway, but this is a little bit. I'm okay with losing the first 5 or 6 to Chelsea and Tottenham and Arsenal. You know what I mean? Drawing a lot of these games is concerning at the moment.
Hey, Brentford's sneaky good.
They are. You get what I mean. You would expect to as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's concerning. But we are injury plagued right now, like the tail end, like the beginning of last season, and then the tail end when we came healthy, we pushed on. So hopefully that's what's in our back pocket. But who knows, man? Who knows?
So out of those 7 that you've got, Alan, who's in form or likely to pose a particular threat to us come Saturday?
Just put 2 bodies on St. Max. And you should be good. No, St. Max has been phenomenal, obviously. We're going to run him into the ground at some point. I don't know when that will be. Most likely soon. Almiron's been solid, though. Always runs his socks off. I'm going to say it, and it's going to be a hot take maybe. Joe Linton has settled into his role on the wing, which is where he belongs. And he's been productive. No goals because he's the only Brazilian that can't find the back of the net.
Not true.
Yeah,
and Jose, we found out last year.
There are a couple, and you're always flabbergasted because you're like, what? But you're Brazilian. But yeah, he has settled in there. He's been a good outlet for St. Max, kind of running through the center while Colin Wilson's out. I don't know who Dwight Gale pissed off because he can't get minutes as the only other recognized striker. But yeah, I would just say keep your eyes on them. So Sean Longstaff came to life last week. That'd be interesting to see his progression. You know what you're going to get from us. You're most likely going to get a stalwart back line and try to hit you on the counter. You guys, in my opinion, are better than us at the moment. But yeah, I would love to take 3 points off you away from home, especially the way things have been going, but I'm a little nervous.
Well, it seems like a guaranteed 1-1 draw whenever our sides meet, though, right?
It's true. So I'll take that because that just keeps putzing along. Maybe not going down, but probably.
So overall, what are your expectations? Are you expecting to go down?
Right now, I am more concerned than in previous seasons. Like I said, because of the very different start to the season. It is very common if you go, take a peek back, even the last 3 or 4 seasons, we always start with a Chelsea or a Tottenham or something like that has been common. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm okay losing opening 2 months to the top 6 where we might sneak in the 3 points here, a point there. We usually pick up these points against the teams that we're drawing against right now. And we've had these wins in the pocket. We should have won at Watford. You know what I mean? When's the last time Newcastle had 65% possession, which means I think speaks more volumes about Watford than it does about us, quite frankly. So yeah, End of the season, answer to your question, I think we might eke it out. It's all about health. Like I said, we've got a very good 11. If we get those guys back and they stay healthy and we don't see a long extended period of anybody on the training table, I think we'll stay up again. We'll squeak it out. If we continue to remain injured with big people like we are right now, we will go down. And that is, like I said, it's a little more concerned this year than it has been the last couple of years. It's always, we might go down, but now it's a legitimate concern. Yeah. Yeah, didn't mean to bring the mood down, guys. You guys should stay up, though, hopefully.
I don't know. You ask some of our people, and they think we're going to finish 20th with no more points from here on out.
It's tough being in this part of the league because there's a clear disparity. Let's say, it wouldn't even say 10 and above, like maybe even 12 and above. And then everything just gets real muddy and real 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 points away from each other. Traditionally, and a long time ago, it used to be 4 or 5 and then 4 at the bottom. Now there's no real comfortable middle ground. You're either going to find safety or you're going to get sucked into a relegation battle. It makes for good television. As someone who's been watching the league for a long time, it's weird to almost never be comfortable, even when you're getting to high point marks these days. And you're like, ooh, maybe that's not enough. So, yeah, it's interesting to see. We'll see. Hopefully, like I said, if we can stay healthy, we'll be fine. You guys are a talented squad. It's just all about hitting your stride again. That's my opinion on you guys. I always think you guys are solid. Yeah, hopefully we'll see how, because I would rather you guys lose this week. We could use it a little bit more than you guys right now. But hey, 1-1, I'll take it. I'll take a point. What's that give us? 5, I think. Sweet. Putzing along. It's just the end of September.
Nice.
Brilliant. Nice one, Alan.
Looking ahead to Newcastle, I think they can carry that momentum from Southampton over against Newcastle, especially since it's a home game. Paul, what are your thoughts?
I would love it if we went out really from the off and thoroughly got at them straight away. High press, high intensity, being at home, all of that. I hope we take it to them somewhat. If we do, I think such an early goal would be such a blessing, and we could go on to have the floodgates open if that happens. So if they are down on numbers, if their confidence is fragile because they haven't won yet this season, hopefully it's a sign of how Bruno sets up that we do go out there and attack them and see what we can get. Because I think they will be a team that will come and try and be defensive, as Alan said, maybe defensive and look to get us on the break. I think we have got to get on the front foot and try and get in there early and put some daylight between us.
Yeah, I think that's how we started last game, and that's great strategy to go in with. If they seem down, Alan was a great dude, by the way, and if they seem down like he says that they seem down, then I think that's precisely what we want to do. Is you just want to get in there. If you can get like the first one and have them flustered, I think that we could run away with this one and might make it a fun one to watch.
So we got another no stupid question from Wolfman Jeff. He says, would you start Hwang Hee-chan or have him come off the bench? Joe, I'll let you start.
He was like, after that first match, like that he looked so good and was just everywhere. In Sunday, he was just nowhere to be found. He was invisible. Like he made like the one cut through the box and stuff. I like him. I don't know. I think he needs another chance. I would give him like another game. Let him start this one, see what happens. I think that he's just like getting accustomed. He was like a late transfer. Maybe give him the benefit of the doubt with this one. Let him see if he can like get it going. But I also wouldn't be scared to pull him early either. So like you could sub him out halfway through, maybe put a Dom on then. But whatever works.
I think we'll see some rotation. I think he'll go back to the bench, and I think Trincao and Traore will start this week, actually, based on the opposition and based on the fact that we may need something a little different to open them up, and whether that's a deep run from Traore dribbling or if that's Trincao and his skill cutting in. I think at least he's got the flexibility to try something different. And that it always offers the opportunity with Wang on the bench that he could come on and he could be more central. I thought he did really well against Tottenham and definitely put himself. He jumped above Fabio in terms of second choice to come on in the number 9 role as well. So I think that's an asset that we've got to be careful with Raul as well, and he needs careful monitoring. And it's something that we never really did, was take minutes off him. But yeah, it's something we could look at if Bruno says he's not afraid to drop people or experiment or rotate. It could be the time, if Raul's 65 minutes in, that he comes off and it's Wang coming on and being something a little different down the middle. Yeah, I could see a change up this week based on needing to rotate and seeing players based off that.
I'd like to see Hwang on the left and Adama on the right, because I think that could give Adama, when he runs to the byline and crosses it into the box, because Hwang, you have seen, he does like to cut in. If he's on that back post, that could give a little extra chance to get a goal on an Adama cross. So I'd be curious to see how the two of them did on the outside of Raul. I'd be willing to try that, because could be something pretty exciting. One's super fat. You got the lightning and the thunder pretty much on each side. Okay, you guys would both have Hwang come off the bench. So who would be your starting 11 then against Newcastle?
Neves back in. And then, put Neves back in, Raul, obviously. I want to see Trincao come back in too. I do. I'm with you. I think that Trincao comes back in. Dendoncker on the bench. I don't think that Cody had played a good game, so I think that he stays in and revert what we switched out this week. I think that's my changes.
I think I'm going to steal your thunder here, Josh, because one player who's got to come in to this team, if we're playing 5 at the back at home against Newcastle, and I don't care if they just kept a clean sheet, it's Ait-Nouri. We've got to have a better outlet from our left wing back down that flank. That I think the positions that he gets in, the output that he puts across, so much it always breaks down when it comes to Marcel. So I know we've had clean sheets, he's not doing bad, but just we need that spark, we need some creativity, especially at home. And I think on Sunday he probably put one decent ball in the box from a decent position. That may have even been from a short corner, I can't remember, but the output that he offers is, he's a left back, possibly even a left-sided centre back playing wing back, and we need something better. So Ait-Nouri'd come in for me. Donk keeps his place. I think Moutinho takes a rest, especially when Newcastle could be more compact in the middle and try and play a 3 in there potentially. I'm not sure of their injury status as it is right now, but I think they could try and be quite compact and look to overrun us in the midfield. So I'd keep Donk, and apart from Marcel, I think it's the status quo for everyone else.
Is Ait-Nouri going to be healthy?
That's what I was going to ask too. What's the concussion protocol like? Isn't he in concussion protocol?
Yeah, 7 days, I believe, from the incident, but yeah, whether that's checked again and he's judged based off of a second screening or whatever it is, I'm not sure if it's as black and white as the NFL's rulings and stuff like that.
I'll be honest, I would be up for Saiss moving to left wing back at this point over Marcel and just putting Bali back there. Saiss has done it before, or even late in one of those games, Bruno put in Trincao at left wing back. Something. Marcel can't cross a ball to save his life.
I can see him as a left back, definitely, and even if it's in Large's fabled 4-4-2 from Benfica, that they expect a lot of the play to come from their fullbacks in that formation. Yeah, maybe he won't be as good, but I could still see his defensive qualities as part of a 4. But in a 5, I just think it's wasted. And that those are where, again, if it's coming from someone to attack the back post for a Traore cross coming in, he did it with the second goal at Watford, and that's been really the only time where he's cropped up and been a genuine attacking threat. At least Aït-Nouri can have the ball at his feet and be comfortable and take on a man and maybe craft something from deeper. But yeah, it just seems to stifle us, I feel, when he's playing that particular role. I like him. He could, injury crisis or whatever, he could certainly come in and do a job even at left centre back with the right partners alongside him. But as a wing back, it's a no from me.
All right, so let's look at predictions then. Joe, I'm going to let you start.
I say we open it up and we get a 3-1 win.
Whoa. Wow.
I say 3. We get like an early one. We get a real late one. Injury time, 92. And we sprinkle another one in there in the middle somewhere.
Wow, okay.
Raul has 2.
Raul has a brace. Okay.
Yeah, it's 2. Yeah.
So, Josh, are you going to go for the 1-1 or am I?
I'm not, so I'm going to let you do it.
I'll take it by default. And but really, I'm not. I'm actually going to go a 1-0 win. Whilst I'd love us to be all gung-ho and attacking, I don't think that will happen. But I'm going to go for a 1-0, and it will be Raul, but from the penalty spot.
Penalty. Yeah, I'm going to go 1-0 as well, just because we know what Newcastle's going to do, especially if they feel outgunned. They're going to sit back like they do, kind of park the bus and just try and get a counter. I think they're going to score on a corner kick. I'm probably going to keep saying this until it actually happens. Maximilian heading it in. I'm gonna say like 75th minute or something. So 1-0 win. Okay, I have a no stupid question for you guys. All right.
Okay.
Who lasts longer at their current job? Bruno Lage or Nuno?
Nuno's done, dude. The social media is already just crushing him. I can't believe how flat Tottenham looks, like with the squad that he has there. Like, oh god, this weekend against Arsenal was bad. It was really bad. Yeah, I think Lage keeps his job. I think that that Fosun has faith in Lage. Like, they picked him to be like the guy. Granted, they didn't give him all the money that he wanted for transfers or whatever, but they seem to be like they wanted to play this way. They found a guy that wanted to play how they wanted the team to play. He seems to be doing it. The squad's buying in. I think he's around for till the end of the season at least.
I just feel really bad for Nuno and whatever happened last season, and with everything that's gone on in the world, you could tell he probably needed a break. And I genuinely wish he'd have took it and then gone to, I don't know, a top team in Greece or Turkey and had a couple of seasons there and won something, and then took a bigger job. That Tottenham one, it was a big enough job to begin with without the spotlight of the players that are under his tutelage, the whole Harry Kane situation.
Yeah.
He's effectively gone from the frying pan into the fire, and I think it could be too much for him, and I feel bad about that. And again, it's circumstances that are out of his control, but it's a totally different beast of being a manager for a team like Tottenham that's got certain expectations that you're going to be there or thereabouts, maybe challenging for a top 4, at least challenging for a cup. He'll probably go and win the League Cup now because he never bothered with Wolves yet. Tried out all the starters on Wednesday, yeah, and that'll keep him in a
like
job.
a stud lineup Wednesday against us. It was like, come on, man.
They'll finish 10th and he'll win a cup and he'll be okay. But yeah, I do generally feel a little bad for him.
Yeah. Reason I ask that is there are some Wolves people that still, Andrew Smith, that still feel like Lage is going to be gone at Christmas. So I was curious. I also agree with you, Joe. Lage is definitely here through the whole year. And Nuno, I don't think that's going to happen at this point. Boy, talk about the manager of the month curse right there. Woof.
Yeah.
All right, so we're about to enter added time. Joe, if you have a listener that's hearing you for the first time, tell them how they can get in touch with you.
Oh, we have a podcast called Too Fast, Too Forever. It's on the Cage Club Podcast Network. You can find us at toofast2forever.com. We talk about Fast and Furious movies and all kinds of other movies every Tuesday. We have a bunch of bonus episodes this week. One of our Patreons, at a certain tier in Patreon, you get to pick a movie we're watching. So I think we're going to watch Redline. That should be out next Tuesday, the really bad one, but we're also going to watch the good one, secret. And so, yeah, that's how you can find us. Too Fast, Too Forever, at Too Fast, Too Forever on everything. If you message any of the social media, you'll find us. And you'll find my other Twitter from there and see me crying about sports.
That brings this week's show to an end. Please continue to do what you can in terms of liking, subscribing, and reviewing Whole Lot of Wolves on the podcast platform you find yourself listening to us on. We'll catch you next week to cover the Newcastle game before a bloody international break again. Yeah, you heard that right. But until then, up the mighty Wolves.